This tool I've had, it was probably one of the first things I purchased as a student, and that was my set of parallel pliers. These things are 21 years old at this point, almost 22 years. I have made such good use of these, and I've gotten to the point where I keep collecting other ones to build up like the variety that I have, like whether they're brass, round, tapered, serrated, any kind of like parallel pliers. I even have a larger set for when I want to do like larger like folding and bending with these heavier pliers. But this one is probably a tool I use probably every time I'm working, even when I'm just kind of like lightly holding work for filing and sanding. Next thing I was going to say that I found I use quite a bit is the Fordham hammer handpiece. It's gotten more use over the years. It started as something that was generally just for texturing and a little bit of bezel setting. But as I've worked more with pulse arc welding, this has been like a key thing in like forming and hardening my welds after I complete that work. They come with different sets of little hammerhead pieces. I've over the years modified a few. For the most part, they've all just kind of stay polished. You can see the ones I end up using a lot more than others. Things to get into corners, things to get into small points, large faces for heavier like hits, and even flat planishing and rounder compression ones. The next thing on my list of some of my favorite tools is my new Concepts bench block with the anvil surface on it. This thing is compatible with the GRS pieces. So while this is a nice removable object, I've taken it out of my studio when I have to do demos and other things in other studios. I just prefer this with a hammering surface on it, being GRS compatible. So I can kind of bounce around with it, and it's just been wildly versatile, especially that, I especially like that it's removable if I need to have more space up here, or if I just need to swap it out for a Benchmate or any other GRS equipment.
This series is sponsored by MJSA member Rio Grande. For even more jewelry conversation, be sure to check out Rio Grande's podcast, For the Love of Jewelers. Each month, Rio's cast of expert hosts from Rio Grande's jewelry tech team chat with industry leaders, jewelers, educators, and more as they tell their stories and talk shop. Ideal for anyone interested in jewelry. You'll gain valuable insights, discover new tools and processes, and enjoy a laugh or two along the way. Listen to For the Love of Jewelers podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or on Rio Grande's website at www.riogrande.com. Search podcasts.
To go along with the hammering surface, I have a lot of hammers that have been handed down. They're customized. They've been made by other artists. But, one that definitely has just served a great purpose in the studio for light work, texturing, and forming has been my Fretz goldsmithing hammer. I've just found this weight, the shape, really helpful. Like I said, being able to lightly tap on a piece just to get it into shape. It's light enough that it doesn't really deform too much. But when you do have to stretch things out or, form the metal a little bit, it's been great for like small rings, small wire bits, things like that. But this is kind of a ready to go one. I have recommended it to many people, to have as a goldsmithing hammer at their bench, and makes good work. Keep it nice and shiny all the time. Number 5, I'm happy to talk about here and also bring the camera into the other room, but my pulse arc welder. This has been my go-to model, the Sunstone Orion 150S. I haven't had to do anything to this machine in the past 7 years. It's been a lifesaver for a lot of like projects. It helps accelerate a lot of things and just kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out when you work with like smaller parts that you're trying to solder at some point. You can at least tack everything together and make sure it stays exactly where it needs to be.